Okay, so I am Cholena. I'm talking about tracking dogs in the Yukon. A bit of background. So the Percy de Wolf is the Percy de Wolf Memorial Male Race is a 320-kilometre long international dog sled race based in the Yukon, up in the northern Canada region there. It began in 1977 in honour of this guy, Percy de Wolf, and he used to carry the mail via dog sled along the same path, or the same route from 1910 to 1949. So dog mushers, which is the people on the sled, and their teams leave our Canadian hometown, Dawson City, and travel to Eagle, Alaska and back again with a couple of compulsory rest stops along the way. And the trail mostly follows the Yukon River, and it's all wilderness. It usually takes the mushers between 30 to 40 hours to complete the journey, depending on the weather and the trail conditions. So how did we get involved? And when I say we, I mean John and I. So our story goes, we used to be young bush hippies living in the Yukon, and we used to volunteer for the race doing various different things like dog handling or like volunteering doing whatever was called for essentially. And then one day back in 2008, when we were still mammoth mapping, we were approached and asked if we wanted to do race tracking for the race. And of course we said yes, even though we had no idea what we were doing. And so we became a sponsor of the race and started hacking away, working out what it was that we needed to do. Over the years, our methods have got a little more refined, and we're still here now mammoth mapping and still supporting the race, but living in Australia. So why does the race need tracking? It's a wilderness race. So essentially, once the mushers leave Dawson, they're gone until they arrive in Eagle. And you don't know anything about their progress, and the same goes when they turn around and on their way back. Sometimes in the past, if we were lucky, we used to get some points called in from a sat phone in a checkpoint in the middle of the race, but it was really erratic and scattered information that was coming through. So it's not really spectator friendly. And by providing race tracking on a race tracking map, it's a really good way to open up the race to both a local and an international audience and reach that world of dog mushing superfans. So how do we do it? We use a bunch of spot GPS tracking units. We use open source tech. We work with volunteers and the community and nature, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, and this is my cheating part. John's going to explain all that in part 2. So what could go wrong? There's a few things. Actually, dogs getting stuck in snow is not one that commonly happens, but so the first year we ran it, as I said, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how to automatically harvest any information from the API. So John and I got up in shifts all night and manually updated the positions. In the second year, it didn't matter that it wasn't automated because our trackers accidentally got turned off in the middle of the race. It used to be, and the older units still are like this, but that the tracking component of it needed to be reset every 24 hours, and we had a tracker a volunteer in Eagle who accidentally just turned them all off in the middle of that race. I'm running out of time here. All right. There's a few other things that happened, like trackers falling off the sled. Time zones. The race starts at 1 a.m. our time, so this is us working from our car one year when we were camping. We don't know how the river's going to freeze each year, so we don't actually know where the trail's going to go. It crosses an international border, which is that cut line in the trees there. So it kind of impacts on some of the stats that we calculate. And I just want to finish by saying that we do this because it's really fun. It's a really good way for us to learn about tech and play with open source software. And really importantly for us, volunteering and contributing is how you build community, the community that you want to be part of and live in. And this is why we're all here now, building this community together. Done. help. Over to John.
Thank you to Cholena Smart.